Whether we are there or not, ITSP Magazine still gets the best stories. Plenty of conferences and events spark our curiosity and allow us to start conversations with some of the world's brightest minds. In person or virtually, Sean Martin and Marco Ciappelli go on location and sit down with them at the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society. Together, we discover what the synergy of these three elements means for the future of humanity. At Level Blue, we simplify securing your most valuable business assets by providing broad cybersecurity experience and award-winning services. Level Blue manages the risk. You reap the reward. Learn more at levelblue.com. Brightiv's cloud privileged access management platform modernizes, centralizes, and simplifies privileged access management across cloud, hybrid, and on-premises environments. The Brightiv patented cloud-native technology empowers security, cloud operations, and development teams. Learn more about the Brightiv CPAM platform at brightiv.com.
Marco.
Choo-choo.
Choo-choo. Was the fast train back from Vegas? Is that what you did?
I'm still wondering.
Still waiting?
And asking myself why there is no train to go to Vegas from LA. I could say the same, why there is not a train to go from LA to San Francisco, but it's not a question for you.
Well, that's not a train, that's a loop, right? I don't know if it's on rails or it must be on rails. Who the hell knows? I don't know.
Maybe we go to
somebody
space
knows,
and then we land back.
Oh, they just drop you safely in the spot you want to be.
I like the train.
You're getting close to teleportation. I don't know.
I still like the train. I fall asleep sometimes. I just put train noise in my headset. It reminds me when I was a kid going around Europe for the first time backpacking, but that's not why we're here. We're talking about travel.
I did a month's worth of train.
That's true.
That was fun.
You did. You were a kid again.
I was a kid.
You had a travel guide with you?
Myself. I was
had
my own travel guide.
Or you
no
had
book.
the
Just
phone?
What can I see from here, and I'll go there next. If the train takes me there, I'm going. That's it.
That's how you do it. But that's
how you do
not
it.
the
That's
point
not what we're
here.
talking about.
No. Well, I think people.
Somebody suggested I write about that, so I might actually do either a writing or an episode on that topic. Maybe you and I chat about it, because I think it'd be kind of fun.
I think it will be a lot of fun. Yeah. Just a distraction. But we're still talking about traveling because we have been going back and engaged quite a bit with conferences and events. So far, we already hit a few this year, and it's the classic. I'm going to call it the traditional one, RSA Conference, InfoSecurity Europe, and you ended up in Portugal for the OWASP, and then recently we just came back from Black Hat in Las Vegas. And funny story, on the pre-event coverage, I was telling everybody that we were going to fly, and then today before flying, I decided, I'm just going to drive, which I really enjoyed it. It flew. The point is that we're back, and despite the fact that we had a ton of conversations with people before and during the event, and everything is either video and audio, we thought that, hey, we learned a lot from these conversations. Let's put it together and let's write our own perspectives. I'm going to use that word one day. It will make sense.
It'll make sense.
And
stay tuned.
And you, from your perspective of a cybersecurity expert, journalist, and me from more the societal perspective. And guess what? We did end up writing something.
We did.
We posted it last week.
Tape 3 read mine.
Tape 3 read yours and also mine.
I know.
And I'm wondering if we should use a different tape 3, but so far it's the same dude. He has a funny voice, a little bit of an Irish accent.
Irish accent.
That's why I like it.
I know.
Very engaging. But the point is, we wrote this thing and we posted. I got, pretty nice amount of people listening to it and reading it. So we'll figure, why not recording something, me and you, and kind of tease it a little bit more. So I'm going to ask you, what did you write?
Oh, I thought you were going to go first, but
I already talked quite a bit, so I'm giving you space.
All right. Well, of course, I like to look at things from an operational perspective. So how can we take what we talk about and what we learn from each other and bring it back to the business to help leaders and practitioners do stuff that isn't just good for the team and good for cybersecurity metrics, but for the business. And with the focus on outcomes and resilience, that was kind of my focus for this piece. So, I mean, it was 24 conversations with 27 people, I think is what we had, something like that.
That's the final count, but it doesn't count the people we talked to in the middle of the corridors there.
True.
Or the expo floor.
24 episodes, 27 people plus,
plus
beyond that.
Else.
So the big, I'm not going to read the whole thing, obviously, but the big categories were the role of data, so gathering, validating, and utilizing intelligence. So a lot in that topic. We had a lot of good chats there. Evolving focus from reactive response to strategic enablement. So it's not just reactive response to proactive response, but in the context of, back to the main point, how do we make a more resilient business? So how do we enable the business to function tomorrow and long term? Looked at AI and automation, of course, can't escape that. And again, not just how do we use AI to build better security programs, but to scale business growth in a safe way. Looked at modular cybersecurity and the focus on flexibility and efficiency. So how can we take components of what we do and really wrap them up and fine tune them and then pull them together in a broader cybersecurity program that's easily managed, and we can update parts as new things come along. Hopefully that's the idea with that. And technology and human insights kind of connected back to the data piece, where we're going to leverage more and more data. But over and over again during the conversations, of course, human insight was another element that we can't let go of. We need to keep the human involved and help them have insight. So don't just drop the human in on top of technology and data, but actually use the technology and data to give them insight so they have a better chance. And the societal impact, which it started to bleed into your stuff. So we're looking at the broader implications of cybersecurity. And this was interesting because we've talked a lot in the last year about the impact to the CISO role if the company and the CISO don't put a program together that's quote unquote sufficient or meaningful for the business. But I think we're starting to see, and unfortunately, right before the event, Black Hat event, there was an outage driven by a cybersecurity company and an update they pushed and an impact on devices from another organization, and we weren't very resilient. So I think we need to stay focused on that too. So I think the availability of security we need to take into account again. So that was kind of another highlight. So those are the main points. Really good conversations. Of course, I would encourage everybody to listen to what we recorded before, during, and after, and certainly invite people to read the newsletter. It's the Future of Cybersecurity newsletter by me.
Yeah, which I know is getting quite popular. So
it's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm all over the place in terms of style. Sometimes it's a made-up story. Sometimes it's an analogy to something else. Sometimes it's a recap of things that on conversations I've had that spark a thought. Like I did one on metrics. Because I've had a number of conversations on metrics. So I put one together.
This is an opportunity maybe to even say, why we started to do this newsletter, and to use the idea of writing it open, that we tell clearly that we use also ChatGPT, because we got excited the day that came out. It actually was making sense. sense enough when you do the right prompt, so you can collaborate with it. It's not just like, hey, write something about Black Hat or about something else. But then, yeah, you've done some cool episodes. You've created entire scenarios, like a small town with 3 little business going, risking to go out of business because they react differently.
Different maturity levels for different types of businesses.
Yeah, and we do soundtracks. I did like an Halloween story about privacy, the big guy spying on you with the face of a pumpkin. And but we're also serious. So to wrap up with what you said, I kind of brought, of course, the perspectives again. One day we'll tell you why, on the social impact. So you went from the technology to the business to the impact on government and society, and I took it kind of from there. But the conversation, I think, is the same. Is number one, what I learned is that cybersecurity is not a destination. Is a journey. We're never going to be cyber secure. Sorry to break the news, but that's what it is. Cultures are going to change. Technology is going to change, and we're just going to have to adapt. The conversations that we had 10 years ago when we covered Black Hat for the first time as ITSP Magazine, and you before that, are not even close to the conversation that we had this year. And so we talk about collaboration, different perspective, different academic field. We had conversations with researchers that are actually cybersecurity researchers, but then they decided to go a little bit more into the societal impact of things, look how countries are collaborating with one another. So breaking down silos is not just for the cybersecurity industry, but it's for nation companies that share information, which is what you said. And then, of course, a lot of AI, both as a powerful tool for defending and attacking, unfortunately. So that's going to be there. But also, again, what you say about the human element, it makes me think about, we say always secure by design. I think it needs to be human by design so that you don't drop the human on top with a parachute and hoping that you're landing on the right spot. So, empowering digital literacy and across all aspects and of business, society, education, and all of that. So that's kind of like where my article focused on. So I want to invite people to read. We will put the links to that and, of course, to the coverage of Black Hat 2024.
Yep.
And to subscribe to the newsletter, because Halloween is coming, so I'm definitely going to write another one. I had a holiday one that was kind of fun about cybersecurity and Santa Claus. So we'll see what I do this year. And before we get there, we actually going to have some more fun. And in terms of trip and travel and coverage,
there's lots of stuff coming up, which is exciting. So for this year, I mean, the end of the end of the year is going to be here before we know it. But we already have a bunch of events lined up. So we have CyberTech New York, which is going to be in Chelsea, September 4th and 5th.
Coming up.
And we just recorded the kickoff episode for that coverage. So that's really cool. OWASP AppSec in San Francisco. So this is a global AppSec event. I did the one in Lisbon, and San Francisco is coming up September 24th through 27th. And I've already recorded one episode there covering the OWASP top 10 for LLMs with Steve Wilson, and I have other ones booked already. So lots of good stuff there. And actually, I want to go back to the CyberTech New York one, because there's some interesting points. I wanted to do one on policy. There's one on innovation. There's an episode on SecOps and AppSec, kind of crossing over to this, and then another one on the societal impact and more along the lines of sustainability. So kind of in line with the newsletter that I just wrote as well. And then we have Sector, which is in Toronto. That's an informative event.
Are we going to go there?
I think I'm going to be there. That's going to be a good one. just up from me in New York.
For my cost, I will go there too.
There you go. We'll have to
sponsors.
See if we have sponsors. We'll go and do a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, that's a companion. Call it a sister, brother event, whatever, to Black Hat. But really cool in Canada there, and I have a lot of fun ideas for that one. You can check out the coverage page there for some of the things I want to talk about.
That's October 22nd to the 24th, 2024.
And then the last industry event is the Australia Cyber Security Conference in Melbourne.
You go to Toronto, I go to Melbourne.
All right, I'll go to Toronto, you go to Melbourne.
We'll both go.
I might swim from Toronto to Melbourne to make it there. Yeah. That one is going to be good because I don't know, a couple of years ago we started to engage pretty heavily with the APAC APJ region with what was an RSA conference at the time, and so we're excited to be back and be part of this. And yeah, I think there's again a lot of topics and a lot of cool things to talk about there, and of course that. Not unlike Toronto, but we get a nice global perspective on things there as well. And then we have a company event that we're going to MC for the
MC.
Woohoo! Yes, we'll be leading. Innovation panels, partner panels, customer panels, keynote firesides, all kinds of fun stuff.
So that's actually going to be in New Orleans. So it's going to be a very creative company when it comes to this kind of event, and I know that being on stage with all the speaker organizer, I'm sure there is a lot of things you can draw from a city like New Orleans. That's not what you say. That's the Italian version. New Orleans. And it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun.
Looking forward to that, and of course we're already line up a bunch of coverage for 2025 because apparently we're having fun. We are really back on track with really feeling the pulse. And when you mention Australia, there's so many friends that we have there that I am really looking forward to reconnect in person, even if it's a long flight, definitely not a train ride. I'm looking forward to that.
Are you just gonna stay there for Black Hat Asia in Singapore? Stay in the region? That's in April. We'll be there for that.
Maybe just move to Japan and then just
there you go. Then it's close.
Asia from there. Why not?
And it's close.
I'm sure
and then RSA
is gonna agree. So
RSA right around the corner from that. And I think the other thing I want to mention, of course, InfoSec Europe in the summer in London there. The other two I want to highlight for next year because we talk about technology all the time, but really with a cybersecurity focus. And the other two we're going to dig into are CES in Vegas, that's in January, and VivaTech, which is in Paris, and that's in the summer of next year. And there is a lot of innovation. Of course, I'll bring some of the cybersecurity spin to what we do for those events, but this really gets back to what you look at in terms of society and how do we live with technology in a way that helps humanity.
Yep.
And a lot of different perspectives from that too.
Yep. We're not going to say more than that. We'll have
no more perspectives.
We're
going to hold them.
We'll have a podcast about that, what's coming up. But yeah, Viva Technology, I spoke with Francois Bissouzet, which is the managing director already for 2 years. And it's been 2 years that I wanted to go, but then it's coming close to InfoSecurity. So this year I promise him that I'm going to go. And God, am I not going to go to Paris? It's been a while since the last time I was there. So why not take the opportunity? And the event it's a lot of people, because what is really cool about this, and then we close, is that it's a hybrid. It's a B2B startup, typical cybersecurity tech conference. But then the last day they open, like it used to be the old expo, international expo, to anybody that wants to go. And they had so much attendance that it was almost unexpected how many people went there, because that goes to show that technology and cybersecurity and all of this ultimately is about the people that are going to use it and the people that live their life with gadgets and healthcare and everything that is provided, communication through that. So I like the fact that people, everyday people, want to know about it and are interested and are getting involved. So
Yep.
with that,
I'm going to do a summary. Marco's newsletter, my newsletter. Please do subscribe to both of those, and stay tuned to On Location. There's a dedicated podcast for that, so you can subscribe to that podcast, and we invite you to journey with us to all the places we go, virtually and physically, all around the world, to capture stories from a business perspective and a societal perspective. And of course, in there we also have what we call brand stories, where if you're doing something cool with the technology and have some innovation that helps us build a better, safer, more sustainable society and businesses that enable society, we invite you to tell those stories with us as well, either as part of an event or not. It's up to you. So lots of fun stuff. I'm excited, Marco, for the rest of this year. And 2025 is already looking great. So,
yep.
And plus big news coming.
And we're going to add a few more for 2025. Actually, just today, there may be an opportunity to go to do something in Rome. So
there might be a Rome one. Of course, we have Black Hat and DEF CON next summer. We can already start talking about that. So there's that as well. So stay tuned. We'll include links for all this stuff.
Stay tuned, subscribe, and maybe we'll see you somewhere around the world. If not, we're on YouTube, and you can listen to us anytime you want. I hope you don't get bored with it. Take care, everybody. Thank you for listening.
AppDome protects the global mobile app economy. Build 300+ defenses into your mobile apps in minutes with the world's only lifecycle mobile app defense platform. Anti-fraud, anti-BOT, anti-tampering, anti-social engineering. Top mobile brands trust AppDome. Learn more at appdome.com. SquareX helps organizations detect, mitigate, and threat hunt web attacks happening against their users in real time. With its innovative browser-native security product, SquareX safeguards enterprise users from a spectrum of web-based threats, encompassing malicious files, websites, scripts, and compromised networks. Learn more at sqrx.com. Coro, the leading cybersecurity platform purpose-built for small and medium-sized enterprises, protects against malware, ransomware, phishing, data leakage, network threats, insider threats, and email threats across devices, users, networks, and cloud applications. Learn more at coro.net.